Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maxwell Ivy, and hopefully more of you have gotten to know me as the Blind Blogger. You can find me at theblindblogger.net. This is another episode of my show, What's Your Excuse? And my hope is that by the end of the hour, or however long it lasts, that you will be asking yourself, if Max can do it, if his guest can do it, then what is my excuse? So today I'm going to have my friend and my past co-host on with me today, Frederic Bye, frederickbye.com. That's FredericBye.com. And we've talked before many times back when he was co-hosting, but since I started doing these shows pretty much by myself, we haven't talked as much, and I hadn't gotten the opportunity to get him on video with me. So I wanted y'all to see him, be able to put a face with the voice, and hopefully more of you will connect with him and learn from what he's doing. So, hey, Fred, how are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. And you?
I'm doing very well, very well. It's a nice Saturday afternoon. The rain seems to be over for a while, so it's a pretty good day so far.
Summer down there? Is it summer?
No, not summer yet. It's summer by y'all standards, spring by ours.
Oh, I see.
And how's the family doing? How's the new baby doing?
Fabulous, doing pretty good. They're out of the house now, so they're out of the home now. So they're just chilling. I don't know where they are, but they're chilling somewhere. So everything's good. Yeah, I just had a nice nap right before coming on here. So
okay,
I feel pretty good.
All right. Well, first, for people who don't know you yet, why don't you tell them a little bit about how you got to being a podcaster and a host of podcasts and a producer of podcasts and eventually having your own podcast or radio network and ruling the free world?
Yeah. Well, it all started a long time ago. No. Well, actually, my first passion was to be a wrestler. I was always passionate about. I needed to express myself, but more importantly, I needed to do my own thing, and become a wrestler, then became a financial advisor, and that just didn't cut it. And fitness trainer, it's fine, but and I decided to become a writer one day, and I decided, this is my life's purpose. This is what I want to do. Now, when you want to become a writer, it's a little bit more complicated than you just write a book, right? So you got to do a bunch of other things, right? So I've always been passionate about self-help. I've read countless self-help books, and I just decided and listened to a lot of podcasts, and I just decided to start a podcast. And it went from there. Basically, I started a podcast. The first podcast was the book Geek Unchained. That didn't last long, and then I did the Creative Magic Unchained podcast. That lasted for a little while, but this one is really the podcast that I do now is the Frederic Bye Show. It's my show. It's all about self-help, unleashing your creativity. It's about unleashing it's about self-empowerment, self-improvement. And I created at the same time the Creative Magic Network so that I can have other awesome hosts that I can work with, including like people like you, Max. So, so that's how it went. And, it's pretty cool so far. It's been an incredible experience. I've interviewed Neil Donald Walsh. I've interviewed William Arndt. I'm doing the interview May 29th in a couple of weeks here with Amit Goswami. I just did, a lot of people that are just unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable talking to these people.
Yeah, I've told people many times, one of the great advantages of having a show, even a new show like mine, is it gives you the excuse, the opportunity, and the freedom to reach out to people bigger than you and go, hey, can I talk to you for an hour? Will you come on my show?
Yeah. So it's unbelievable. I mean, the podcast has definitely been the best thing for me to put myself out there. And, it all comes from a lot. I think the one thing I've learned from doing these podcasts is most people that start their own thing, whatever it is, a business or a podcast or a book or whatever, they did it because, they got fired, or B, they were just tired of the corporate world and they just wanted to do their own thing. But everything starts from pain, it seems like. You know what I mean? So that's what I've learned, and I can see that in my own life too. So,
well, I think I've told you once before that I think one of the best and worst things to ever happen here in the United States was the economic collapse in 2009, because it forced so many people out of jobs they were used to, but it also gave so many people finally gave them the freedom to go, well, it's not like I got anything else to do. Let's go for it.
Yeah. You know, I can't tell you how many people I talk to who say just that. The 2008 crash happened, and then I didn't know what to do, whatever. And you know, the 2008 thing was a big thing, because the people I speak to, man, they mention it quite often. You know, they got laid off. That's what I mean by they got fired. Most of them that got fired, they got fired in 2008, 2009. And, you know, I say fired, but laid off, you know. It's not like they were incompetent or something.
No. For the vast majority of the people who lost their jobs in 2008, 9, 10 were very good at their jobs. It's just that the economy was being run very poorly, and they had to suffer because of decisions made at the top of the food chain. So, yeah. But it did give a lot of people the freedom to go, well, let's start my own business. Let's record my own album. Let's write a book, you know, and you hear stories all the time. I think there's a couple in Michigan who they just recently came out that they've been writing erotic fiction for 5 years now to pay their mortgage payments.
Wow.
Because they didn't want to admit what they were writing, but they've been writing, you know. But it gave a lot of people I mean, I think a lot of people were happier to say I'm a writer than to say I'm unemployed, you know, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can imagine that. But, you know, I love this experience. I think for me, the best thing that came out of this is the things that I've discovered through this experience, just doing what I'm doing, are the possibilities, you know, for possibilities, just living. I would say it's a dream life, but like, I'm not a guy. I don't want to answer to somebody. I don't want to have to answer to anyone. I want to have the freedom to be wherever and to work from wherever I want. I don't like to go at the same place always, you know, all the time. And this is what this thing has brought me. The more I study online business, the more I discover the possibilities, and when I put it in practice, it's unbelievable. You know, it's just unbelievable. The work that we put in at some point is going to come, you know, it's going to come back to you. It's going to turn around, and it's really going to help. So sometimes we work and we think that nothing happens.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but if we keep hustling, eventually something will happen, and you will realize why you've been doing what you've been doing this whole time, what you thought was in vain.
Yeah, I like to mention this quote to people when they talk about this subject in the carnival business. There's a famous saying. It's since been attributed to W.C. Fields. It goes, "Son, the only way you can lose is to die or quit playing, and you look pretty healthy to me."
Yo, that's good.
And,
yeah.
And I think about that because even in my own life, I find there are times when things are going pretty good, but they're not going as good as I want them to be. And I'm like, man, when is this ever going to really take off? When am I going to have to stop pushing so hard? When can I get to the point of other people and other mechanisms doing the work for me? And it's funny. It seems like, you know, no matter what level you're at in this process, there's always one phase of your life or your business where you're going, man, I suck.
Yeah. Of course. But you know, I'm also, as you know, I'm a big student of trading. You know, and I've been studying it for a while and doing it, and I have this in my office, you know, written on the wall. It's written, "Your profits are based on arithmetic, not optimism," and that's from Benjamin Graham, famous investor. But the point is, that's the same type of philosophy I see in business. That, you know, you cannot rely on hope or just optimism. I realize now the importance of having a specific plan. And when you're able to understand that, when you're able to focus your energies, when you know why you're doing what you're doing, like the end result is just it's like another, you have a more, I don't know, more powerful energy behind what you do. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is that a lot of people that are struggling with this subject just aren't clear on what the end goal is. They're not clear enough.
Yeah, and not just the end goal, but the plan.
Okay.
The how you get there.
Okay. Can you give us an example of something like that where you figured it out in your own life, or you figured it out for help somebody else figure it out?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, okay, let's say you're in business. Okay, no, when I started, I was in business. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a podcast. Yay! What's the end result? Well, okay, I want to grow my audience. Okay, okay, I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, that's a goal. Okay, but how do you like? Okay, you have podcasts, you have blogs, and you have 1,000,000 people doing the exact same thing that you're doing. In self-improvement. Okay, like there's no plan, right? But now if I start to study business, and when I stumble upon this book recently, okay, I can say, okay, but the way to get there is you have to acquire new subscribers. And then you can sell affiliate products. You don't even need to sell your own products. You can sell your other people's products. Now, how do you acquire these new subscribers? Oh, you have 3 main ways. Number one, forums. Okay, that's free, but you're gonna have to hustle a lot, and that's the slow build. And then you have what we call email media. So basically, it's just like Joe Blow has 100,000 subscribers. You say, hey, Joe Blow, I want to promote to your subscribers to go to my page, and get this free gift. That's another way. And the other way, let's say it's Facebook. Okay, well, you start to put up Facebook ads, right? So now, all of a sudden, you have a plan. And when you study this, you know how to communicate to these people, because once you acquire these subscribers, okay, but you got to sell now. Okay, but how do you communicate that to them? Well, there's a way so that they don't get bored. You don't just. So it's all these intricate things that I think you learn just by studying. I think online business is like any other thing, right? You got to study this stuff. This is what I've learned. And then there's a big difference between theory and practice, right? Because in theory, it sounds very simple, but in practice, you're gonna, you got the plan, but you're gonna go up, down, sideways, and you know what I mean? It's just, you're gonna figure it out as you go along, but at least you have a direction, you know a little bit more what you're doing. So I don't know if I'm clear, but that's the difference, I think.
All right. Well, I've been talking with you a while, and I think I understand that one of the things you've had to realize is that your mailing list and growing your mailing list is the most important thing you can do. And that instead of pushing everybody to your website, you need to be pushing them to your mailing list in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, we were talking about this a while ago, I think last week or something. And we were talking like, oh yeah, I have so much, people coming to my website last month or whatever. But then you go, okay, what's the bottom line? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the income? Okay, you got all these people. Then what? Who cares, right? At the end of the day, I mean, it's all about passion. It's all about adding value to the world. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But you and I have bills to pay, right? And we have dreams.
Well, so does just about everybody that's watching us. They also have bills to pay. And,
there you go.
I'm going to share the example me and Frederic were talking about. We were discussing email subscribers and responses to recent posts that I've been putting out on my own mailing list, because in the last week or two, I've been making an effort to be more proactive in my online efforts. And I told Fred, I said, hey, Fred, I've got 130-something subscribers. On my most recent email, 40 people opened the email. And then he goes, Yeah, Max, they looked at the email, but how many of them actually clicked something? And then of the people who clicked it, how many of those actually watched your webinar or signed up for the next program? And I think that's the point you're trying to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about what's the bottom line. What is the bottom line? You can't turn your back from it. And I notice so many people, we all have passion. We all love this stuff. Okay. We all love it. Our messages are inspiring. We're all inspiring. That's all fun and dandy. Okay. But at the end of the day, man, there are very few people who study, really study this, and I want to be one of them. I hope I am being one of them. And I think another great thing about doing what we're doing, Max, is that, look, when I was a financial advisor, I didn't like the products I was selling. I didn't believe in the philosophy. I didn't believe in it. And, and now when I'm doing this, I'm doing the exact same thing as I was doing. Well, not the exact same thing, but, I'm doing I'm selling, right? When you're a financial advisor, newsflash, you're trained you're trained as a commissioned salesperson. Okay.
Exactly.
And what we're doing, it's kind of the same thing where we get a commission for the things we sell. But the great thing about it is now I can choose my products from the thousands of products out there from, experts that I highly respect. Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, so many people that, oh, wow, Tony Robbins, all of a sudden I can sell their products. Now I have confidence in what I'm selling. Now, I don't mind, when I was a financial advisor, I minded getting paid because I just in the back of my mind, am I screwing that person? Like, am I really doing the best for, am I really selling the best thing for that person's needs? But now with these products, I use these products. I use these experts' work, countless times. So, and that's the great thing about online stuff. You can sell whatever the heck you want. You can be a crook or you can be an honest guy. No, but it's true.
No,
one thing I'm discovering, hey man, anybody can do this. You can be a crook or an honest, and you're still gonna make money. But
Yeah, I think you made a very important point, and that is when you are online, you do have the right to pick and choose what you're going to sell, and that includes selling your own products and services directly from your website without paying somebody else a commission on it for them selling it, unless you want to pay them a commission to reach their market. And that's
sure.
And affiliate sales.
You're right. But I just want to say something here. Because a lot of people are just starting out and they don't have any products.
This is true.
Okay. And to me, the way I see it, affiliate marketing is like the bread and butter. It's stuff that's already there, already made, you don't have to do anything except lead the person to that sales page. You know what I mean? Like it's already done for you, and then you can pay your bills and at the same time create your product. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish I had gotten more into affiliate sales sooner. I've only recently started looking into them, and this is 3 years or so since I started the blindblogger.net. And that reminds me, I'm talking to Frederic Bye he does a show called the Frederic Bye Show on the Creative Magic Network at frederickbye.com. And I'm Max Ivy from the What's Your Excuse show at theblindblogger.net. But I thought you did a couple of things in that last segment without really thinking about them, I believe. One is you showed people your passion for the products that you are selling, and there's value in passion, because when people realize that you're selling stuff because you believe it's honestly in their best interest and it's something you truly believe in, that makes a big difference. And the other thing is, here in America especially, we have a lot of people who have to be forced by law, and even then they find ways around the laws as far as doing things based on what would be best for their client or their customer. There's very little of that going on in the corporate world. I'm sure there are a lot of well-intentioned people, but corporations get to be of a certain size and they get to be in a certain routine as far as how they run their businesses. And sometimes they don't have the concern for the end user like you have, like I have, like a lot of people in online marketing do.
Well, I mean, they got to answer to shareholders oftentimes, and shareholders, I mean, they don't care about, I know I'm an investor too. I don't care about, like, just, you know what I mean? Like, you just want to make money. Like, this is it. Like, that's the bottom line. I can't blame them, but at the same time, the customer is paying for it, many times. So
when you're the investor, when you hold the shares, it's like, don't tell me how you did it. Just be sure there's a dividend next quarter. Is that correct? Yeah. Hello? You still there, Fred? Hello? Fred, are you still there? Seems like we lost him. Hello, Fred. Yep. I've read. Glad to have you back. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't do live shows is because of stuff like that. But we agreed in the beginning to record this stuff live, so it'll be as if it actually happened, even though it won't have actually happened. We'll see. But yeah, we were talking about how with affiliate marketing, you can pick and choose the products and services you want to represent, and you can make money while you're creating your own products or services, whether they be books, albums, coaching courses, whatever.
Right. And we're just saying that, it's just fun to be able to sell the stuff that you're really, really passionate about. And that like I said, we can sell Tony Robbins and all these guys. And I truly believe that, affiliate marketing is the bread and butter of the online business. If you have nothing to sell, at least you can sell someone else's product. And that's the greatest thing. I'm learning that the possibilities really in online marketing, online business, especially email marketing, are so unlimited, and people don't realize that. They don't realize the possibilities, and I don't blame them, because I think online business is a little bit like the financial business. It's confusing. There's so much information, there's so much BS out there too, that to sort that all of that out is hard for a lot of people, including myself, but
yeah, I was just going to ask you that question, actually. As far, you mentioned some of the people you mentioned selling their books and products on your website. They are acknowledged experts that nobody has any doubts or worries about. But how difficult is it to find the affiliate opportunities, and how difficult is it usually to sign up for them and get started with them?
It's real easy. It's the easiest thing in the world. You don't need anything. Some people will ask for how many subscribers you have, but I mean, I can sell. I mean, it takes literally 5 minutes to sign up for an affiliate.
Okay, and do you get to negotiate the percentage with any of them, or is it already preset?
It's already preset. It's a machine. It's a machine. I mean, yeah, you have somebody to contact, a human to contact.
Yeah.
You can contact somebody, but for the most part, it's just, I mean, you can do this at midnight, or you can do this at 2:00 in the afternoon, and you'll still, and then you got to get approved, obviously, but that takes a few days. And but to sign up it's real easy. It's not nothing. And you also have these kinds of marketplaces like CJ.com and ClickBang.com, and so yeah.
Right. I have heard about those sites, and I've every time I visit them, within 5 minutes, I'm like, there's just way too much stuff to choose from here.
Well, I mean, you can categorize. You have categories. So if you're in you got to know in which niche you're in. You're into self-help. Okay, well, there's a category for self-help.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the usual commission fee on affiliate products? What's the range at least
Yeah, it
for?
depends. 50% usually. The highest for me is 50%. Some places you'll find like ClickBank, you have more than that. You might have 75%, but I would say 50% or under. Expect that. Like a few places, a few of big names, it's 15%.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but I see 50%. Obviously, for to attract more sellers. I mean, the higher commissions, the better it is. But when it's a big name, you're willing to take less commission. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently submitted my first book to Audible, Leading You Out of the Darkness into the Light. I submitted it to Audible, and they put it on their website for sale, and they came up with a price of $7. And for anybody who's not dealt with Audible, iTunes, or any of these places where you submit audio or video content, they keep 75% of the gross. So they're paying me 25% on my own stuff. So 50% for selling people who are already well established and have good track records and good names. That sounds like a pretty fair deal to me. It sounds to me like you're pretty much splitting it down the middle with them.
Well, you know what, Max? You're doing a lot better than a lot of traditionally published authors. Because
Really?
25% for an author is a lot.
That's true. For a traditionally published author, 25% of book royalties would be a lot. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers would be to compare audio to audio.
From what I know, it's between 5 and 12%. If you're 12, and I think like 12% is if you're a bigger name. If I'm
I'll
not
be,
mistaken.
I'll be darned. So yeah. Well, it makes you feel better when you think about that, and that's why so many people are self-published, and that's why we've had several lawsuits and several protests against those companies. So, all right. So you do the affiliate marketing, and you've been building your email list. And just to remind y'all, FredericBye.com. You go over there and sign up to his email list. Tell him what your current in what do they call it? Inducement is for when people sign up. What do they get free from Fred?
So they get the book, three secret tips on how to not give a damn, because it's important to not give a damn in life. So in there, it's based on my experience as a financial advisor and wrestler and fitness trainer, but mostly financial advisor and wrestler. I let other people crush me and crush my unfulfilled dreams, as I like to say. So, and I learn a lot from those experiences. And when you let other people get into your head, you know, you're not gonna make it happen. It's very important to, and oftentimes you're distracted. And this is what I explain in the book. Oftentimes you're distracted and you let other people crush you because you don't know who you are. So the book really touches on, it's a report. It's a 26-page report based on, first, I talk about rejection, obviously how to use rejection as sweet honey for your soul, as I like to say, and also how to find your life's purpose. I think that's a big thing, because when you know your life's purpose, in many ways, you know who you are. You know what path you're taking. So there's that. And then also why you should send your haters a big, nice bouquet of roses. Very important, because, they're there. You don't realize it in the moment, but they're really there to push you. When somebody really irritates you and they know they're irritating you, and they keep doing it because they know they get to you. These people, man, they push you. They push you harder. Because I think we all have these people in our lives. You know what I mean? Like, they don't dig what we're doing. They don't believe in us, or more importantly, they don't believe in themselves. And when they see that you're you're putting yourself out there, and
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, how does that make me look? You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of times your haters are hating you because they don't have the courage to go after what it is they want, or they don't know who
No.
they are, which is why I know we're both big wrestling fans. I got a new catchphrase. It's you have to thank the assholes right along with the angels.
Hey, that's a good one, man. Jeez.
Yeah,
I would copyright that one.
yeah. I've been trying to find me somebody who will help me through the process of doing just that. Yeah, because I think it's a good one too. But yeah, you have to be grateful because every experience has some part in building you to that person you're going to be. But I noticed you mentioned the word distracted a lot, and I think you're talking about how if you don't really know who you are, you can get kind of pushed off of the path that you're meant to be on. And I recently had an example where I was working on my next book, and I talked to my friend Lorraine about it. And her advice was, Max, remember, you're a self-help author. You're an inspirational, motivational person. You're not a travel author. And I that's one of some of the best advice I got in a long time because, so often we start out to do one thing and then, we hear voices from other people. We see stuff come along. And we're like, man, that looks good. I ought to try that. But sometimes you have to remind yourself who you are. So I was wondering if maybe you have an experience along the lines of distraction because you mentioned that word a lot.
If I had an experience?
Yeah, about where maybe you were distracted or, weren't able to stay true to where you knew needed to be going.
Of course, I have many experiences, but I think the main one is when I was in wrestling, I was at the WWE developmental territory.
Which one?
And Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville. That's part of the Appalachians, the Smoky Mountain area. A lot of famous people have come.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling, baby. Jim Cornette. Yeah. I like Jim. And Ken Bolin is a cool guy too. I don't know if you know him, but
I don't know him, but I grew up on James E. Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express, and I rooted against him every Saturday morning for probably 10 years. So I know, and I personally think that there's been very few better showmen in any business in the last 30, 40 years. He just has a innate gift. Cornette does. He just.
Oh yeah. I mean, you should listen to his podcast. Unbelievable.
Oh, I didn't know he had a podcast. I'm gonna go
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh my God. You should listen. It's Jim Cornette 101. I mean, it's 100% pure Jim Cornette. I'm telling you, man. It's unbelievable. You should really check it out. He has two podcasts. He
was probably the greatest ever with a stick in his hand.
Oh man, yeah, he's good. And he didn't lose anything. And trust me, he didn't. He still has it. He still got it.
I'll have to check out his podcast. Okay, so you were in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. What? I don't have any way of judging your physical size or anything. How big? How tall? How big are you? I'm just trying to get an idea of what kind of wrestling. Okay, so.
No, but back then I was maybe 230.
Okay, well back then you would have been you wouldn't have been a heavyweight in those days because in those days a heavyweight was like 300, 350.
Yeah.
Nowadays we've got heavy.
Okay, but wait a minute. Now it's not Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It's Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Well, yeah, it is now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in Ohio Valley. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and tell the story.
No, it's just okay. I started the beginners class that went well. I already had experience in wrestling, wrestling here in Quebec, so it went well. Then I did the Rip Rogers class and intermediate class, there, and that lasted for about a year. And then I jumped to the advanced class, which was a contract class, and it's very weird because when you go for the intermediate class to the contract guys who are under contract with WWE. It's a totally different game. All of a sudden, competition goes up. And I was not ready. I was 21, 22 at the time, and I was with men. Like, I was with real men. Like, not kids just, these guys pay their bills doing this stuff. and all of a sudden, because it's weird because when you move up, the people who are still at the level that you were at, all of a sudden they don't like you anymore. All of a sudden you hear the buzz. It's like mosquitoes, right? It's like, the wings or the bees,
Yeah, I know it.
You hear that, right?
Yeah.
And so I had that, and plus I had the newfound competition that I did not expect. And I was totally emotionally distraught, that's for sure. But I don't know, it sucked the passion out of me. And the more I learned about the business, the less I was thrilled about it, because it's more about politics and who likes you and who doesn't, and who doesn't like you. You're basically walking on eggshells, and you got to be someone. You got to be someone's, darling in many ways. And I'm not saying that, if you're someone's darling and you become world champ, good for you. God bless you, But it just didn't feel right. And again, you're a threat to other people, right? All of a sudden, people give you the cold shoulder. Dude, like I know, like I just got in your class and give me the cold shoulder. And this guy, a lot of guys, it's like I saw their work, and I respect them. But all of a sudden, you're in the same league as them. And it's like, woo, they don't like you. So it's all of that. I would say that kind of just. I didn't expect it. I didn't, you know what I mean? There's that mentality of you have to step on people to make it. It's a corporation. So I would say that was a big moment, and that I think manifested into a back injury. And 6 months later, first I had a shoulder injury, but then I got a back injury. And I truly believe that the back injury was a result of the emotional turmoil I was in. And I sent that to my subscribers. I told the story to my subscribers, I think last week, where it just, again, it manifested in an injury, and that's all I can say about that. So it's just to show that back then I could not guard my mind. I did not have the mental strength, self-confidence, self-belief to let the noise and let the fear dissipate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, as a guy who does podcasts from both sides of the screen, as the host and the guest, I would say that in future, that's a story that you ought to tell more, and you ought to get better at telling it, because I think it really makes a lot of statements for people who are deciding whether or not they want to associate themselves with you, whether or not they want to join your list and buy from you. Even with the products you have that come from recognized experts, it would be so much better if they trusted you and didn't even need to know the names of the people you were selling to them. With that kind of a combination, I just have no idea how big you can become. But I listened to this story, what you've told me of it now, and this is like maybe the second or third time you've mentioned it publicly. So you'll get, obviously you'll get more comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. But I love that you did share it with me. I can't wait to hear what the viewers and the listeners think about it. And there's just so many things in that story. How you start to grow, and the people around you don't want to be with you no more.
Well, they wish you failed. It's like they wish you failed. They're happy when you get hurt. You know what I mean? And that hurts. Like, they wish they're happy, man. They go, oh yeah, man, sorry about that injury, brother. But they're happy. You know what I mean? It's just a show, and that's deceiving. It's very deceiving. It's very
and then talking about expectations, how you didn't expect the upper level to be as cutthroat as it was, and you just weren't emotionally ready for that. Expectations. And then the last part I love is you admit, and I agree with you 100%, that you manifested the back injury. That the back injury wasn't physically caused; it was caused because your mind and your spirit and your heart just weren't in being where you were, and a back injury was the way your body's saying, "Okay, you don't want to be here? Fine, we'll get you the hell out of here."
Yeah, and I think that I think in many ways I wanted it. I wanted to kind of get injured, but my mindset at the time is, there's that mentality of as long as you can physically go. Doesn't matter how mentally messed up you are. You understand what I'm saying? If you can go, you have no excuse.
Yeah, so. I will give you an example from mine that I've mentioned many times before on podcasts, and that is people will ask me to sing, and I always tell them, don't ever ask a singer if he wants to sing, because the answer will be yes. He could have just left. He could have just left ICU 5 minutes ago with with pneumonia. But you turn on the music and ask them if they'll sing, they'll sing, and it's the same thing with the wrestlers.
I remember. I remember like it was yesterday, the day of my injury. So I was at practice in the morning, and then we had a show at night, at evening, and I was coming back here from Canada to Canada for like a short period of time, like the next day or so, or next couple of days.
Yeah.
And what happened was, so I'm in the stands, and we're all in the stands. We're sitting, all the guys, all the boys, we're all sitting in the stands. You have Al Snow there, and at the time Tommy Dreamer was the agent, and
the booker,
talent relations guy. But anyway,
yeah.
And I was in a contract class, but I was not under contract, just to specify it. But and then they say, okay, so Fred, you're gonna go against so and so. And me, I'm naive and I'm young and I'm, whatever. I raise my hand in front of all the boys. Hey, no, I can't. I just injured my back this morning at practice. Now, none of the boys saw it because I was still doing the intermediate class, right? I'm in the advanced class, but so none of the boys in the advanced class saw my injury.
Okay. So
all of a sudden, you can imagine, it's like being in a football team, right? They start to bust my balls, and if Vince was here, you wouldn't say that, and and I knew because I had back injuries in the past also, so I knew that injury was really serious. Like I knew it, but the thing is with back injuries, you can't fake them. It's easy to fake because you don't have a crutch.
They're very difficult to diagnose, even if you have millions of dollars worth of equipment. They're still very difficult to prove or disprove.
No, but I mean, but you can't show that you're hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you don't wear a crutch, you don't wear anything. You just, unless you're in a wheelchair, but I was not in a wheelchair. So anyway, I'm getting, I don't want to say bullied. That's too much of a word.
You're getting razzed, you're getting teased, you're getting...
Yeah, there you go. So all of a sudden, I almost go, I raise my hand, okay, in my mind, I go, screw it, I'm going to do it, But I remember Al Snow, it just looks at me like, shakes his head, like, slowly, like, no. Like, don't do it. But anyway, that's my perception. Maybe that's not what he did, but I feel that's what he did. I didn't raise my hand. Yeah, but I didn't raise my hand and I did not do the show. But the point of it is, knowing my injury, if I had done that show, just one bump to my back, and I know for sure could have changed my life, like on the bad side. Like it could have really. It could have just because it was serious. My disc, like the jello in my disc, when I got out of my disc, like it just popped out, and I couldn't train. I was because when I came back here to Canada, I kept training because I was still in that mindset, even though I was hurting. Even though I was hurting, and then I remember riding my bicycle back to my home, and my foot slipped. And man, it just accentuated the injury. My sciatic nerve just went like, burned. And I was like, geez, I really have to stop now. Like, it's not a joke. Like, coming back from the gym, I did that. So, and it's a bunch of things. So it was really an emotional turmoil at that time. But it's funny because... Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, how long did it take you to recover once you accepted or once you realized that your back was that messed up? How long did it take you before you went from being the wrestler to being the guy working for the corporation selling the business products?
You mean as financial advisor?
Yeah. How long was it between those two things? How long did it take you? How long?
3 years. I got out when I was 23 in wrestling, started the company at 26, and I was a fitness trainer in between.
Yeah, but how long was it then before you really accepted that you were no longer a wrestler? How long did that take? Or have you even accepted it now?
I'm not a wrestler. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. But see, that's the thing. Okay, that's the thing I was gonna say. There was never that moment of, oh my God, I can't wrestle, because I was relieved that I couldn't wrestle. As weird as that sounds, um, because all of a sudden I was quote unquote forced to explore other things, and
I love that.
I wanted to explore other things, because you have to understand, I was a wrestling geek. Like, that's all I knew. You would talk to me right
Yeah.
before then. That the only conversation I had was
Uh-huh.
wrestling. I didn't know
Okay.
anything else about, not anything else, but I didn't know much about other subjects besides wrestling. And quickly realized by being there in Louisville, that that's not really a good thing, because if wrestling's not there, then who are you? And that's the thing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't really know who I was. Am I really a wrestler after all? Is this really is even back then I was thinking that is this, I worked all my life almost, or all this time to get here. And I realized, oh, this might not be it. And that's I think that I think is really the beginning, because I really saw the reality and went like, oh, geez, I don't know if this is what I really, really want. But I kept going. It wasn't an excuse to stop. So I just kept going with that in the back of my mind. So I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of all these things. And I needed to get away. It was great. It was good because I could finally look in the mirror and say, okay, man, who are you? Are you a wrestler? Okay, if you're a wrestler, I'll accept that. I'll go back to wrestling. No problem. But if you're not, it's like saying to God, to the universe, hey, if I'm a wrestler, I'm open to it. I'll get back in it. I don't mind. But if I'm not, then I'll follow there too. I'm open to follow that other path too now. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I'm just sitting there smiling at you the whole time. I mean, I love that. The best part about this, the best part about the time we've spent today is the best stuff started after we've dropped the call and you had to call back in on your cell phone. And I'm thinking about editing this puppy just so they see this stuff first, because this is genius. Yeah, my favorite comment in just the last 15 minutes, because there have been several, is when I got hurt, I was actually relieved. When I really,
Yeah.
that's big news. That's when you've started to accept the fact that maybe what I've been doing all my life, what I've been doing since I could walk, maybe that ain't what I really meant to be
Yeah.
doing the rest of my life. I
And
love
it's
that,
both,
man.
and it is both scary, because you don't know what is on the other side, but exciting at the same time, like I said, like relief at the same time. So yeah, man, it was great. It was great. It was bad. It was really bad, but it was great.
Yeah.
So
Well, when you were wrestling, did you wrestle as Frederic Bye?
I wrestled as Fred Williams.
Fred
Um,
Williams?
yeah, the MVP. Now there's another MVP at the same time that I was there, who was at the other training center, and he made
Yeah.
it to WWE, so he was called MVP. So that's not, and we look alike, so let's not
Really?
confuse. Yeah.
You look something like Montel Vontavious Porter.
Oh my gosh, you know all the names. What the hell, man?
I don't know any of the names in the last 2 years. I've been very upset with the quality of the program for the last couple of years, and I'm not. So I don't know as many of the names. If you ask me about names from before 2010, I'm good. If you ask me about names from 2011 to now, yeah. There's a lot
Okay.
of because there's a lot of guys who, to your point earlier, are there because somebody likes them and somebody thinks they can turn them into something. And oh, by the way, they weren't cheap because they just started under contract. That's my opinion. That's wrestling. That's not what the What's Your Excuse show most of the time. But I tell you, I really enjoyed this, Fred. This has been great. You've gotten into something that so many people need to do in their own lives. They need to take that hard look before life forces them to do it for them.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And this
So
is
what was
millions
your
of people. All these people are just
yeah
running around all the time, job, from job to work to kids, job, work, kids. You don't see life passing you by, and it's only when a lot of these things are gone that you realize, oh, okay, well, now I have to stop and I have to figure this thing out, figure out who I am.
yeah Yeah. And the other thing is that I've found a lot of people, no matter how bad their current situation is, they get to a point where they're comfortable with it, where it's like, yeah, I know my life is horrible, but it could be worse.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people that are still in that stage of, what if I try something new and it fails and I'm worse off than I already am? So,
It's funny. It's funny when I came back from wrestling. After a while, I wrote, like, I did a vision board, and I wrote that my income will not be dependent upon any business or person. And
I like
I
that.
think,
I
yeah,
like
and
that.
I'm thinking now of what I'm doing with the trading. Cash, because I'm learning cash flow investing
Yeah.
and this online business, and it's like, oh, that's exactly where I want it to be. Like, this is exactly what I want. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? I don't have to, not dependent upon anything else. And then I can learn about real estate too. And I can, you know what I mean? Become an
Yeah.
investor, an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
it's just, anyway, life is there's a process to it, but it's just exciting, the path that things that are happening now.
Yeah, I'm excited too because you talk about asking God and asking the universe. It wasn't too long ago I was looking for somebody to be my co-host, my tech guy, so I could do a show, and you're looking for somebody to have another show on your network, and it worked out really good for both of us at the same time. And I'm wondering, are you still looking for more people to host shows with you, or is that something that
Yeah.
you've decided against now that you're
Yeah,
more focused?
sure. Absolutely. Anybody who's, willing to, has a positive message to share.
Come on, go ahead, do the commercial. Go ahead, do the commercial, Fred.
Whether it's about relationship. We're looking for new hosts. I'm sorry. I get myself when I got. Anyway, look, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're
that's
looking for new
cool.
hosts. We're looking for new hosts. If you're in the health, wealth, or relationship department, you have a positive message out there. We're looking for people who are willing to be teachers, people who are willing to share their messages. And if you have something to give, hey, reach us out, and we'll be glad to publish your shows on our network. And it's really cool because it's a growing network and just one more place for your show to be. And yeah, man, we're looking for more. We're looking to touch more and more people. So we want new hosts.
Yeah, and that's over at where do they go, Fred?
FredericBye.com, and click become a host in the header.
Okay. And Fred also has we have an online marketplace over there where if you've been on this show and you've got a book or a course or something, you can talk to Fred about listing it in the online marketplace, and he will receive a small percentage of your sales either through Amazon affiliate links or through affiliate links from your products. But it's another place where your work can be seen. And once people find you and start to like you, then you can start to grow that audience, which, as I remember, is the whole reason you started doing a podcast in the first place, was because you thought this would be the best way to build a platform for your future efforts as a writer, if I remember correctly.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said, if I remember in the beginning, you started the podcast because you wanted to create a platform for your writing, if I remember right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I tell you, I've really enjoyed getting to know you. I've enjoyed today's show. Why don't you tell people where they can find you again besides the website, if you're on YouTube or iTunes or Twitter or whatever, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, sure. So they can find me. Really, the simplest way to go is go to FredericBye.com, Frederic with S-E-Bye, like bye.com. You will find everything about me. You'll find all our podcasts are there. You'll find our YouTube links are there. You will find the free book report I talked to you earlier about how to not give a damn. The beginner's approach to a life of meaning. It's on, like I said, rejection, finding your life's purpose, and sending your subscribers a roses. So now I'm receiving a call. So I think I'm gonna have to go.
That's cool. I appreciate you coming on the show. I'll talk to you later, Fred.
Oh, no problem, Max. Hey, thank you for having me. And anytime you want to do this again, just ring me. Just
All right.
contact me.
All right. Well, as you know, as a host, when us hosts get in the bind for a guest, we call people that have been on before. So, so, so the same applies to you, my buddy. If you need a guest, just call me up. Okay.
All right, cool, Max. Take
All
care.
right.
Have a great day,
You
man.
too. Have a good
Okay,
weekend.
bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, that was my friend, my man, my buddy, my former co-host and still my producer and network host, Frederic Bye. And I'll tell you, even if you don't want to be on the network, even if you don't want to buy anything he's currently got for sale, you ought to go over there to his website, listen to some of our podcasts, sign up to the email list, and read his book. It's a heck of a book. It's especially for a free offering. You know, find out more about Fred. You can also check out the syndicated shows from Mara Sweeney, the Happiness Ambassador. I think her shows are posted over there too. I could be wrong, have been before, will be again probably today. My shows are over there too. My books are over there, Leading You Out of the Darkness into the Light, A Blind Man's Inspirational Guide to Success. And it's not the cookie, it's the bag, Leading You Out of the Darkness, a easy to follow guide to weight loss success. Yeah, it's bad when the author gets the name of his own book wrong, but it happens. Just like I hear sometimes musicians get the words to their songs wrong. But and you can find me over at theblindblogger.net. Well, we've had another great episode here. I look forward to your thoughts. You can leave comments on the feed, on Frederick's page, on YouTube, or on my website, theblindblogger.net, or you can just click the contact link on either site and send one of us an email. We're pretty friendly guys, willing to meet new people all the time. So I just want to remind you once again, if Frederick can do it, if Max can do it, if Michael Babcock, if Michael Schwartz, if Lorraine Regular, who's ain't been on the show yet, if these people can do it, then what is your excuse? Until next time, thank you and God bless you. This is Max Ivy, known all around the world as the Blind Blogger.